Welcome back to RGR Football. I'm Ryan, and this is me going rogue on the Kansas City Chiefs, your new penultimate player in Patrick Mahomes, as well as the NFL. And we have a lot to talk about. Now, I have to admit, this is not the rumors video that I was going to do. I had one all set aside and ready for Tuesday, but the action of Monday demanded that I kind of change things up. So, given the aftermath of the Patrick Mahomes signing for what, with incentives, is a 10-year, $503 million extension, there's a lot to take away from that. And there are a lot of scenarios that are already popping up. We're going to take a look at what this means for what the rumor of the evidence is. And that's exactly what they are, rumors. We're going to smash them one by one like we do here on this show. But if you missed last night's Q&A, I went through a ton of what we knew then. Make sure you check that out. It'll be linked here at the end of this video. Stick around to find that one out. We're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes right here because the Twitterverse really jumped on this real quickly. Tom Pelissero had a lot of background information after the original story had broken from Adam Schefter, who was the lead on getting this information out in this particular issue. And it first leaked, it was just 10 years. And that's significant in and of itself. There's only a handful of contracts that have been that long in the history of the NFL. But then we got more and more details. And as the night went on, we finally got a picture of what the cap numbers are going to look like. And that's where the first rumor comes in, because immediately people started flaunting these ideas, posting YouTube videos, throwing out podcasts that, oh no, this was going to bring down the ability of the Chiefs to field a team going forward because Mahomes was taking such a huge chunk and that it was going to determine the way that the team had to go. It is the curse. And yes, there is a stat out there. I can't remember what the percentage was, but there's a threshold for it when teams play quarterbacks that if they go over that percentage-wise, that it ties the hands of the team. And there hasn't been a whole lot of success with quarterbacks that are paid huge contracts. I believe it's 12% over the cap, of the cap and over. They haven't had much luck in winning championships. The difference is that Patrick was very cognizant of this. And so he went out of his way to make sure that his contract did not eat up enough that he couldn't field a team around him. And this is a deal that is situated in a couple of different ways to really take advantage of where they are right now and build for the future as well. His cap hit here in 2020 is a mere 5.3. That's with a sizable 4.5 prorated bonus and then 825. These numbers come from Jason over at Over the Cap, and he was the first one to analyze what we got from Tom Pelissero and actually put it into a visual, and that's why I'm going to use his visual here. Please visit him over there at overthecap.com. It's worth your time to dig around in these numbers because what it illustrates is exactly what this deal turned out to be: a meeting of the minds, a midway point that allowed the player to get his money and the team to still have room to maneuver to field a team that is worthy of winning championships. If you missed Patrick himself, he put out a video on the day as well, which ended in a very specific way. I'll play a chunk of it here. But the bottom line is that he is focused on making sure that they are in position to win and become a dynasty. And I think that's keenly important. When we look at these numbers, you see that borne out. You see numbers that leave him at cap hits of in 2021 at 24.8, which is, by the way, what his cap number was going to be on the fifth year option. So literally no change. In fact, they actually saved, I think, $15,000. I think it was 24.83 and now it's 0.06. So that gives you an idea. And then an increase to 31 in 2022. And then that's when it starts to take over and get pretty expensive in 42.4 in 2023. But until that year, he is actually less expensive against the cap with this new mega deal than is Russ Wilson. Russell Wilson was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL until today. And it is something that having that notch above, saying you have the biggest contract is one thing, but being allowed to be under the previous one in terms of cap space is significant. And so the rumor that he is going to cause the Chiefs not to be able to sign other players, including Chris Jones, who we'll talk about in a second, that's just ludicrous because he went out of his way to not maximize his money. In fact, the rumor that he's going to play out this particular contract is also pretty far-fetched because of what happens in 2027 under these specific rules. His salary jumps from 2.5 to 10, and his bonus goes from 39 for all intents and purposes, up to 49.5, giving him a $60 million cap hit in 2027. That's not going to happen. I don't care how much the cap grows. There will be a replacement extension done to sub out the last 5 seasons, 27 through 31. That is almost a given at this point. And the structure of it, we're still waiting on some details, but as I re-record this video tonight, it is something that is going to be checked off in guarantees as he goes along. Some significant roster bonuses. That is where the bulk of the money is paid out as roster bonus, as well as some workout bonuses. That said, it does leave room. And that brings us to rumor number 2, is that the Chiefs cannot sign Chris Jones. That is an absolute falsity. The way that this works at the salary cap is that Chris Jones, as soon as the tag was put on him, cost against the salary cap the maximum of that value, the value of that contract, 16 plus million. The fact that he hasn't signed it just means he's not getting paid yet. It's still counting against the cap. There is a point in time where that money will come off there if he doesn't report. But that is a significant piece. And so the only thing that can happen if the Chiefs are able to work out a contract with Chris Jones is that it will reduce his cap number, especially if you look at the way that the Chiefs have structured their deals in the last few years. And all of them have been very specifically very low base salaries with prorated bonus as per usual in the first year. Frank Clark came in, I think his first year salary was $850. Patrick Mahomes in this first renegotiated deal, his base salary is $825. They will, if they can reach a deal with Chris Jones, I am sure they will structure their contracts in the same way that they have done in the past in order to protect this. Because right now, this is a game of knowing, at least in a standard year, that the cap is going to go up. So if you can keep this year at a lower rate when you first re-sign a contract, it allows you room to grow into the rest of it as the cap grows as well. So it does not preclude signing Chris Jones. It does not take any space away from the ability to sign Chris Jones to a long-term deal. That is not the issue with the Chris Jones deal right now. It is not an issue of space. What it is an issue of is coming to an agreed upon term of what that dollar should be. That is still something that remains to be seen. And if that can't happen, one rumor that is true is I think this does make it a little bit more applicable that teams will want to try to trade for Chris Jones now. I don't know that it makes the Chiefs anymore, but it does make other teams very interested in thinking the way that we just described, that if you spend all this money on the quarterback, you got to give something up in the defensive tackle. That's not necessarily true, but I do believe that it will open up more teams into inquiring of the Chiefs as to what it will cost them to come in and try to secure Chris Jones via a trade. Now, that is a much bigger deal in terms of the steps that have to be taken. In any deal like that, it would require negotiating a long-term deal with whatever suitor that is before any deal would be executed and the trade actually happened. So that is part of it. But to his credit, Chris Jones was very kind on social media in congratulating Patrick Mahomes. I'm sure in his situation, he understands that securing that money for Patrick is a win for a player versus the league. And I'm sure that he supports that. I think it will eventually become to a deal that he will get a deal that he can be happy with. I think if he can back off his number, it could be in Kansas City. If not, I do believe there will be more suitors today for Chris Jones's services than there were yesterday, the day before Patrick Mahomes signed. So that leaves us in a situation where we're still going to be listening. We have a lot of things coming in terms of the way that the teams are going to have to deal with the COVID situation, how those protocols are going to work. And I have a ton of information that was released on that too. We'll deal with that later in the week. And we do have a Tyreek Hill film review coming for you tomorrow from Dan Harms, so don't miss that. But that is the rumors for today. Let's all enjoy the Patrick Mahomes deal. I'll have more for you on that later in the week. Thanks for watching this one. Make sure you're subbed and you click that like button. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.